What would you do if the one person you trusted more than anyone in the world was living a complete lie? I never thought I would be the man sitting in a dimly lit car at 2 a.m., staring at the faint glow of a hotel room window, my heart pounding a sick rhythm against my ribs. Da-da. The screen of my phone was a cold blue mirror reflecting a man I no longer recognized. Da-da-da. It displayed a single text message from my wife, Sarah, to a number I didn't know. He has no idea. I'll be there soon. But I did have an idea. The mystery wasn't asterisk, if asterisk she was cheating, but how deep the betrayal went. And as I sat there, the cold Chicago air seeping into the car, I realized the life I had built was a house of cards, and the slightest breeze would bring it all down. That night I decided I wouldn't be the breeze. I would be the hurricane. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 15 years, Sarah was my world. We'd met in college, 2 kids with nothing but ambition and a shared love for old movies. We built our life from the ground up in a brownstone in Lincoln Park. I poured everything into my architecture firm, and she climbed the ladder in corporate law. We had it all. The beautiful home, the respect of our peers, and our 8-year-old son, Leo. He was my everything. He had my eyes, my smile, my love for building elaborate Lego castles. Or so I thought. The first crack in our perfect facade was small, almost unnoticeable. Sarah started working late, a common occurrence for a lawyer on the partner track. But then the client dinners became more frequent, stretching late into the night, sometimes until morning. She'd come home smelling of expensive perfume I didn't recognize, and a faint, cloying scent of whiskey. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now permanently attached to her hand, screen down. When I'd ask about her night, her answers were vague, dismissive. Just work, Michael. You wouldn't understand. The warmth in her voice was gone, replaced by a chilling irritation, as if my questions were an inconvenience. She started criticizing me, my clothes, my friends, the way I loaded the dishwasher. It was a slow, insidious campaign of manipulation designed to make me feel small, to make me doubt myself. Her and her lover, who I soon discovered was a smug hedge fund manager named David, felt untouchable. They'd flaunt their affair just under the surface. A shared smirk across a dinner party, a text message hastily hidden. One night, I found a receipt for a suite at the Peninsula Hotel on a Tuesday afternoon, a charge for $200 cocktails. I felt the floor drop out from under me. The humiliation was a physical weight, pressing down on my chest until I could barely breathe. I confronted her, my hands shaking as I held the piece of paper. She didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. She laughed, a cold, cruel sound. "Are you seriously tracking my receipts now? How pathetic. Maybe if you were more of a man, I wouldn't need to have dinner with clients who actually appreciate me." That was the moment the loyal, loving husband died. In his place, something cold and strategic began to form. I didn't argue, I didn't yell. I simply nodded, a quiet calm settling over me. "You're right," I said softly. "I'm sorry." The relief on her face was sickening. She thought she'd won. She had no idea she'd just declared a war she was completely unprepared to fight. My breakdown was silent and private, spent that night on the floor of my office, the city lights of Chicago blurring through my tears. But by sunrise, the grief had hardened into something else. Resolve. I wasn't going to just leave. I was going to dismantle her life with the same precision I used to design buildings. I hired the best private investigator in the city, a grizzled ex-cop who had seen it all. For the next 6 months, I played the part of the oblivious, slightly pathetic husband. I'd make her dinner, ask about her day, and die a little inside every time she lied to my face. Meanwhile, the investigator was building a mountain of evidence. Photos of her and David kissing in a parking garage on Rush Street. Audio recordings of their trysts, bank statements detailing lavish gifts. The most damning piece of evidence was a recorded call where Sarah and David openly mocked me, laughing about how I was funding their affair. "He's so wrapped up in his blueprints and that little brat. He'll never figure it out," she'd said, her voice dripping with contempt. That little brat, my son. The rage was a white-hot fire, but I kept it banked, letting it fuel my meticulous planning. I met with my lawyer and set the traps. We filed for divorce silently, timing the service for maximum impact. I liquidated our joint assets, moving my half into a trust she couldn't touch. I prepared a package for the senior partners at her law firm and another for David's wife. The final piece of my plan, however, was the most devastating. During one of Leo's routine dental checkups, I'd had a long talk with our family dentist, a man I'd known for years. An idea, born of a dark, gnawing suspicion, had taken root. It was a long shot, a truly vindictive move, but her callousness had earned it. Requested a copy of Leo's full dental records, citing a need for a second opinion. Then, through a contact my investigator had, I obtained a copy of David's. The public exposure was a masterpiece of social demolition. I had Sarah served with divorce papers in the middle of a board meeting. The package containing photos and transcripts landed on her boss's desk at the exact same moment. She was fired by the end of the day for violating the firm's morality clause. David's wife received her own package via courier, and he was thrown out of his Gold Coast apartment that evening. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Their social circle, the one they valued so much, turned on them instantly. Sarah was a pariah. She came home that night, her arrogant facade finally shattered, her face a mask of fury and disbelief. "You ruined me," she screamed, throwing a vase against the wall. I just stood there, my expression unreadable. "You ruined us," I corrected her, my voice devoid of any emotion. "This is just the consequence." The final act took place in the sterile environment of our lawyer's office. She was there with her new, much cheaper lawyer, trying to fight for custody of Leo and a piece of the fortune she thought we still had. She was haggard, the designer clothes hanging off her thinning frame. She demanded full custody, painting me as a vindictive, unstable man. My lawyer simply slid a folder across the table. "We're prepared to contest your custody claim on the grounds of paternity, Miss Thompson." Sarah scoffed. "That's ridiculous. Leo's my son. He is my lawyer," agreed. "But is he Michael's?" And then he opened the folder. Inside were 2 dental charts, side by side. On the left, Leo's. On the right, David's. He pointed to a rare congenital anomaly, a peg-shaped lateral incisor, a genetic trait present in less than 2% of the population. He then pointed to the exact same anomaly on David's chart. She went absolutely white. The blood drained from her face as she stared at the records, her mind finally connecting the dots. The room was silent, the only sound the faint hum of the air conditioning. All her lies, her arrogance, her betrayal, it all came crashing down on her in that one silent moment. She didn't say a word. She just stared at the proof that the last 8 years of my life, the boy I had raised as my own, were built on the most profound lie of all. She was completely, utterly ruined. I won. I got everything. The house, the money, and after a court-mandated test, the legal confirmation of what I already knew. I kept custody of Leo. He was my son in every way that mattered, and I would never let him know the poison from which he came. Sometimes, late at night, I stand in his doorway and watch him sleep, and the quiet, haunting question returns. Not what would you do, but what have I become? The end.